Hey, welcome back. I'm going to do a little fashion show for you today on my Smith & Wesson Model 36. So I just want to show you some of the progress that I went through to get to the gun to the place it is today. Even though you might not think this is as pretty as some of the steps along the way, I think I can explain to you how I got here. So that's what we're going to do now. So anyway, this is the grips that it came with as well. So I'm sure these are the original grips that came on the gun. They were also in very rough shape. Again, did not go traditional on these. It's maybe an homage to traditional, but definitely not traditional. So I stripped down the grips, tried to get all the finish off of them without taking away any wood. Didn't want them to get any smaller than they already were. They're plenty small as it is. And I looked into some techniques on how to clean them up, and if I can find it, I'll roll in a link to the guy's video that I watched on how to clean up grips. It helped me a lot, and honestly I don't remember it, but I remember using some baking soda toward the end of the process to help draw out the oils and dirt that were in the grips. So you clean it all up with a solution, and you use the baking soda to help draw out all the filth and the excess finish and whatever else is on the thing, oils, whatnot. After I get the grips all stripped down, then I just use some True Oil on them. Put several coats of True Oil until I got it to a shine that I liked. You put the True Oil on, you let it dry, you lightly sand it, put another coat on, let it dry, lightly sand it. Typical process, right? So I did that until I got the shine that I wanted on the grips. Cleaning the grips out as I did not really take away the color, so I did not stain these. This is how they were. This is just a coat of True Oil on top of a cleaned version of the factory grip. And then these shields, the Smith & Wesson shields on each side, they were pretty rough. Okay, they were originally gold. I could see there was gold down in the recesses of the shield, but all the raised parts were all rubbed off, and it was all silver, I'll say. Silver, I don't know if it's steel or whatever they made it out of. But anyway, they were not gold anymore. So I got some gold leaf and put that on there. And I put some True Oil over top of that just to give it a little extra protection, and let that dry. And I think they look pretty good. Again, they don't look factory original by any means, but I think it looks good. So after doing all that work, and I got it to the best way that I think I could have done it, I hadn't even taken it to the range. I was still just checking it out, trying to make it nice and neat, but got it all fixed up, and then tried to hold the thing and try to figure out how I would use this. And this is that a natural hold on a revolver? That's horrible. I don't know if my hand's too big for this or what, but I decided it was the grips. These grips are just terrible for me. I don't know whose hand they fit, but it's not mine. So that put me on a quest to get some different grips. And I think it started out with a recommendation from Yankee Marshall, who I think pointed to Altamont. I watched a lot of people, so I don't know this for sure, but I think I heard him mention Altamont, and I checked them out, and I believe they make grips for Smith & Wesson, or at least they did. So they do a good job of it. I'll put it that way. So we'll show you Altamont grips that I tried. So the Altamont grips I picked up were the, I think they're boot grips. And ever being the budget-minded person that I am, I got the cheapest ones I could, which had no texture really. They're just smooth grips, but conversely, I think they're the prettiest. They show off the layering in this wood laminate that they have, and I still think these look fantastic. But you can see I put some grip on them, some grip texture. I think that's some Talon grip texture, and you just heat it on or stick it on and heat it up, and it holds in place really well. And that gave me a little bit of extra grip, and I needed it, because I'll tell you, when you fire this, I know it's just 38 special, but with no pinky on there and a smooth grip, it really jumps in the hand. And the shape of this grip did help me quite a bit, being able to keep yourself from getting way up behind the trigger guard here like you do with the factory grips. Helped with the posture of my finger, so I'm not crooking my finger down so hard to get to the trigger. Anyway, I guess they have, there's like a metal plate that you can get here that's a third-party product that I don't even know if they still manufacture it. I looked it up, but I think the cost of that little adapter for the factory grips versus getting these grips, I think was almost a wash. I think these cost just a little bit more at the time. I don't know what they go for now. This was probably 10 years ago now. Anyway, this fit my hand really well, except for the lack of any pinky hold there. But I wanted this grip because I wanted to be able to carry this concealed. Okay. And then that led to something else. So I like this grip the best. It's hard to shoot with it. It is difficult to hang on to the gun. So before I get to my last grip though, I want to show another step I took, because this was going to be my concealed gun for a while. So what I did is I wanted to, I got to dig through my parts here. So I went out to eBay and I picked up some spare parts for Model 36. So I got an extra cylinder, and you can see I've polished that all down. That's all ready to be blued. But this is long after I had done the bluing on the gun, so I haven't gone back yet to blue the piece, but I at least got it polished up. I got some trigger components here. What do we got? Cylinder pin, crane, and the ejector rod. Side plate, also all polished up, ready to go, ready to be blued. But the reason why I bought the kit was this guy, and I'll pull him out of the bag here, even though he's going to be all oily. This guy was right there. So somebody else had modified their gun and bobbed the hammer. I'm 90% sure this is not a factory hammer, or a third-party modified hammer. I wouldn't say it was a Bubba Gunsmith doing this either, because they got it polished up real nice. It's blued real nice. The shaping of the back of it looks good. I mean, it doesn't look like they just took a cutoff wheel to it. It's pretty nicely rounded. I wouldn't say it's perfect though. And I don't know if that shows up on camera or not, if there's any blemishes to the shape of it. But whoever did it did a nice job. Maybe I'm mistaken and it's a factory Smith & Wesson part. I don't know. I guess I shouldn't claim that I know because, hey, I just picked up the part on eBay. So anyway, I picked this up and installed this in place of the original hammer. And I actually carried it for a while that way. And it worked out well. I liked it. And the only downside I had to that is once I had spent some time at the range with these grips, I decided that my semi-auto shot softer than this did. So after trying out the bobbed hammer for a while, I had taken it to the range and was just doing normal range practice with it. And the thing jammed up on me. The cylinder bound up. So I couldn't just pull the trigger. It was all locked up. I couldn't pull the trigger. I couldn't pull back the hammer. The cylinder was bound up and I couldn't get it to do anything. I had to push the cylinder release button here and then tap on the back of it so that the crane would open up. But once it opened up, I figured out that a piece of brass in here it had a little bit thicker rim than the other cartridges that were in the package of rounds that I was firing. Just a little bit. And so I got out my reloading book and measured the rim and looked up what the specs were on that, and it was within specification. So even though the round was the issue, the gun was what was out of spec. So there was something wrong with the gun not being able to handle that rim. So then I started investigating the gun and come to find out right where this firing pin comes through, you can see there's a larger circle around where the firing pin comes through, and that had actually dimpled out a little bit. It was like a little volcano looking thing right there. And that piece is something that normally you'd be able to replace, but I had some trouble sourcing the parts to do that. That does actually come out of there, and you can replace it if you could find the part. So since I couldn't find the part, I did something that again, there's going to be people out there that don't like this at all, but I took I'm going to run this down backwards because I don't have the proper size punch with me here, but I took a punch and I ran it down the barrel after wrapping it with some cloth tape so that I didn't mess up the rifling. Rested it right on that little puckered spot, tapped it down, took the punch back out, and it's been fine ever since. So I don't know, my gunsmithing skills are probably not proper, but knock on wood, they've been working so far. So that shattered my confidence in the gun. Knowing that the cylinder could lock up like that, knowing that that was a potential weakness, and that metal could easily wear its way back out into that puckered position again and bind up the cylinder. I just wasn't confident in it. When I had a semi-auto that I had purchased for concealed carry that was working fine, it had just as much capacity as this. Actually, it had more capacity. It had I had 8 rounds in my car CM9 because I got an upgrade to that. Anyway, my confidence in this was shattered. So ended up switching the hammer back and decided the grip didn't really matter anymore since I wasn't going to carry it concealed. So that's when I switched to this guy. Now this one I just picked up on eBay. This I think is made in Thailand by probably some slave labor. I don't really know. But anyway, it doesn't fit as well as the Altamont grips, but it's quite a bit more comfortable. So you got room on there for your pinky. It fits my fingers perfectly. It's thin enough to where you can use speed loaders. And I haven't even taken this to the range yet. I haven't taken the gun to the range yet with this grip on it, but it's comfortable in hand. Beyond that, the only other thing I've done to this is I went out and I got some Wolf springs, and boy, all you can really see is packaging on here, but trust me, there's a bunch of little springs and things in here for tuning the gun. So I got a variety pack basically of the springs that go in this gun from Wolf, and got the action tuned the way I wanted it. I did overdo it at one point and had the trigger return spring too weak, so gun goes bang and you let out the trigger, and there was some hesitation with the trigger coming back out, so I had to switch that back up so that the trigger would return properly and reliably. So always be careful if you're changing springs around. So that's the story of my Smith & Wesson Model 36. Stay safe out there, guys. Bye.